Hey, RPM Trade Vietnam. Doing another live stream. I miss doing them live streams on my way to work and shit. They always turn into fucking 45-minute live streams and shit. Cause I'm tangential and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Um, I try to justify how trans how tangential I am um, by saying that I'm like Neo decoding the Matrix. All I see is zeros and ones anyway. I think all of this shit is connected. I think yeah, I can just jump from one topic to the next. My transitions be smooth, don't they? Y'all know how I am. Anybody know who I am? Then when I go off on my tangents, it all seems to just mix, though, don't it? I mean, it sounds like a ramble, but I really be trying to illustrate how this is just all one big story of humanity. All of this shit is connected, bro. Especially when you consider like deceptive like media and entertainment and shit like that, how deceptive that is, and you can realize like how centralized all of that is. Then it gives you an umbrella to recognize so that you can consider all of these things connected because they are. That's why I'm just tangential, man. Y'all might see it as that, and I can kind of understand that because I feel the same way. But I think I still be on topic. I change the subject, I still be on topic, bro. Because all of this is a fucking game. It's all one thing. Rare fruit. I see you. What up, Rick James? Cody Cooper. What up? Darrell. What up? Yeah, I want to talk about conspiracy theories. All different types of conspiracy theories. Um, there's a lot to talk about when you talk about conspiracy theories in general. There's the term in and of itself, conspiracy theory, where it came from, uh, when you realize like where these terms come from, all types of shit. And like you got to listen to what it is that they say, that they talk about, the things that they talk about, and even the way they name these things is all pretty crazy if you pay attention. The real, the Watergate scandal. Yeah, Watergate is kind of crazy. Um, it's real crazy. It's one of those things that lets you know that there's going to be a facade that they put out in front of you as far as like government control and government business. And then there's shit in the background that you kind of have to suspect may be going on. If you legit, then you can just suspect things. And then when you see little hints of things, then you go, oh, that's what I would fucking expect. What else you got? And then you just take a closer look. You start zooming in. And shit like Watergate is a good example of that. It's like, man, they be doing stuff, bro. You think they're gonna give you full disclosure and what you see is what you get in government. There's always something behind that. The expectation that it's anything less than that is kind of crazy. That's why conspiracy theories in and of themselves for what it is that you're questioning in any of them, very often, more often than not, these conspiracy theories are usually interesting enough that the kind of person that I am, I say that better not be true, and now I got to figure it out because if that's true, that's fucked up. And then I just go look like a crime scene investigator. Um, Almost all conspiracy theories interest me at least a little bit. These terms, words that they get from these think tanks working pretty good on a yeah, on regular. Yeah, they do. As soon as you say conspiracy theory, what percentage of the American population, just America, because the whole fucking world is kind of loopy about a lot of shit. Uh, some cultures are like super hypnotized by their geographical, cultural, and religious identity. Like North Korea, for example. You see how like cuckoo, how crazy it all is. Um, it'll go that far, but if you just look at the American population, when you say conspiracy theory, how many people go? Uh, and then they instantly get turned off when you mention the words to them or you go into something that they can quickly identify as a conspiracy theory. When you do that and people have that reaction, To me, every time I see that, I go salute to y'all for trying to control these motherfuckers because I think you got them. I can't talk about something that they fucking know is a suspicious set of circumstances that if I start talking about things that they cannot perceive themselves or have not heard or seen these clues before, that how strange and foreign it is to them is enough for them to go, then they start discrediting based off of that, which is weird to me because a grown ass person should hear something that sounds nefarious or dark and in their protective nature say, at the very least, that better not be fucking true. And now I want to know. But some people will just be turned off just because it sounds foreign and crazy. And that is the sign of the hypnosis. Because when you say conspiracy theory, people just go, what you talking about? Well, what would make you think or say that crazy shit? Tell me more. This is how I feel, man. Because that way I'm not going to, nothing gets by me. I don't even give a fuck if I'm wrong about a lot of conspiracy theories that I entertain and kind of do research in and kind of think about. Then I try to apply the information that I find to real life so I can see if it matches up. That if this conspiracy theory is true, there's other things that I will see in a ripple effect being affected by this being true. So I'm going to be looking for signs of that. You know, the aftermath, the preparation, all of it in between. I do this about conspiracy theories, and when I look at it, I go, bro, it's looking like that's true. And I don't need any more information to be circumstantially invested in this conspiracy theory. And I hold grudges about this serious shit. Period. That's how I perceive all of this shit. They guilty of almost all of this stuff. If 10% of these conspiracy theories are true, like legit, boom, bullseye. This is what's happening when no one's looking. Make 10% of it true and we got a fucking problem. 10%. And we got a fucking problem on planet Earth because I take personal offense to being lied to and deceived and controlled in the midst of my soul's journey for whatever the fuck it is that I got going on here, that any of us got going on here. For anybody to interrupt that with this shady shit right in front of me when it could just not be like that, I take offense to that shit, bro. Every conspiracy theory that's fucking true, and whoever's behind that, I hope all they ass die. Fuck is you talking about? I'm offended, and I don't gotta like them for what it is that they do. I can wish all of the death, all of the pain, all of the fucking misfortune on whoever is behind controlling us enough that they benefit in an unfair way while lying to us about who we are as human beings, even. We don't even know like the truth of the history of humanity. We got to kind of piece it together from what it is that people in a position to discover and deliver this information, whatever it is that they do and how they feel and what vibe they got going on, whatever's happening in the midst of these discoveries is going to determine how much of that truth we actually get and how much of the truth they're going to use against us to control us, because that's exactly what's actually happening. And it better not fucking look like it. Every time it does, I go, man, bro, y'all would have to be doing that to be getting over on people in ways that I see you guys being successful in all these other endeavors. When you look at something like the military industrial complex and you go, boom, look at that. How do y'all fund this? And then when you talk about the Titanic and they didn't really sink the Titanic and all of the bankers that were involved in all of that type of shit. When you talk about this and how the U.S. dollar, this Federal Reserve note, is not backed by anything now. The Great Depression and taking us off the gold standard after that, and all this other crazy ass shit. All of that looks like the crime where it would have come from to do what? To enslave not just niggas, but everybody is a slave to that fucking dollar. They got your ass. If you think you better than me because you're white, you fell for that shit. You are a fucking goofy. That's a psyop. The racial divide is a psyop. We're all going to go through the same suffering and control that's intended by a system like this bullshit American dollar. Who's going to escape it? No one. Not nobody because you white. That white skin not gonna save you from that. And because that is a much more prominent, innovated, built on a fucking crime ass fucking scam of fucking human existence to do that. Because that is so great, the racial divide to me can be broken down just like this. It's a divide that they benefit off the fact that we fight like that. So I say I would rather fucking piss them off by not falling for that than to fight you because you white just because you white and because I'm black and you white. Man, fuck that shit. Whoever's going to capitalize off of us doing that seems like a bigger enemy to me. I deal with you later. Just let it be known that whoever started the fight deserves to lose and that this gun is mine. If we do that, let the racists die for their fucking racism. Until then, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to talk to you about it. Stay the fuck away from me. That's probably best for everybody. I'm fucking focused over here. Who thought they was finna get a come up off the fact that we can't figure this shit out like children? We would tell kids to get along about the race, not to tease the fat kid. The smelly kid might have a fucking financial issue that you, privileged child, might not have to go through. And I would much rather teach you to be sensitive and empathetic about those things in life than to help you tease that kid for being kind of poor, kind of smelly kid, clothes are dirty, shit like that. This is the shit that we would tell the kids, and then we grow up and don't nobody act like that. None of these grown ups is acting like what we tell these kids not to be fucking doing. Congratulations. You get to choose a leader for me. I don't believe that. I don't even believe that y'all, any of y'all, in a moral position to rule me like a president. So how can you then go help pick one to do it for you? Man, fuck that. Where you get the power from? You see what I'm saying? The voting, all of that. That's a whole nother conspiracy. We just went through an election. Are they real or not? No, I don't think they are. I think they had that. They got to put on a show to make this appear to be your choice, open to being flawed and tampered with like anything else. Um, they want this to feel organic, but I don't think that they would allow for you motherfuckers and how they feel about you anyway. They don't respect you or understand you or care about you or none of that shit. You think that they would feel like that when you know you can see that in a sleazy politician. Both sides get accused of a whole lot of shit that they should be accused of, but everybody thinks that if their guy is less guilty of things that they won't even look into because of the confirmation. I mean, because of the cognitive dissonance, they won't even look into the shit like a crime scene investigator. They get involved in this cult of personality, so they will not say the bad things about the one that they think is the least evil. The lesser of the two evils is the one that they won't fucking dig into to see if they can also find disgust in that one too. And I think that you would. If you pay attention, you can grow to be disgusted and distrusting of both sides every fucking election if you just give in to the idea that maybe you should own yourself and you don't know these motherfuckers. Do that. Take those two perspectives that I shouldn't have to beg you to understand and then apply it in your fucking life, and you will very quickly look at government and go, I don't know if I like y'all. And whatever it is that y'all doing, I think that we can get it done for society without y'all getting away with all the bad shit that we see y'all doing that no one likes. How about we remove that and give y'all all of the other responsibilities? And if y'all don't like that, and if y'all want to fucking fight about it, then bust a fucking move. Because this is where we are, and we don't gotta like y'all, bruh. No one's willing to do that. And you ain't got to fight to do that. That's another conspiracy theory that I never really hear too many people actually talk about, but it's an angle that I have, and you heard me say this shit 100 fucking times. But the revolution should be a defensive move. It's not supposed to be an offensive move. And if they paint this image to you that anarchy means no rules, no, it doesn't. It means no rulers. And if you gave into that, you wouldn't allow them to rule, and then you'd be willing to fight them and anybody else who thought that they were going to rule, and you would keep everybody on an even field of play as no man above the next man. They don't want the world to be like that because then they cannot rule. They got to give this illusion that somebody should rule, and that who should be ruling is them. And your role is to pick which one of them, and it's all just them. It's of them and us, right? Which one of them is going to fucking play the role as the fucking leader when government wins every election? I don't give a fuck what side you're talking about. Why the fuck I gotta explain this to grown ass people? It's a hypnosis, bro. The entire society can fall into a uh, a psychotic break. I just heard this on a video that I seen this morning. Sent my mind off into the fucking stratosphere because this video was made like 13 days ago or so. And what I realized is very often when I'm in a mode, in a mood, and I'm fucking saying shit and I'm thinking, especially when I do live streams, almost immediately after that, within a few days, sometimes a few weeks, I'll stumble upon a video that came after the video that I made saying some of this shit. You can look right at the dates. Video, you will see me do a live stream, and then I'll show you a video that I discovered, and the video was posted after I did that live stream. And it takes everything that I'm saying in my delivery and my tone and putting it in a nice, soft, academically sound documentary form a video voiceover with images where they make references to philosophers and all these people from fucking ancient times that are saying some of the shit that I'm saying. And when I see that, I go, God damn, look at me, organically discovering in my observation of life the same truths and understandings that philosophers in the past have said about the nature of reality and what that means about government control specifically. And it's weird that some of these philosophers talk about this type of shit. These guys, these political philosophers and shit. I go, I be goddamn. That's why I feel like I'm doing this and I feel alone, but I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like there's something out there. And the more and more that I study in that angle, philosophical thought, then I go, wow, this is amazing. Because this video I just seen this morning is clearly saying everything that I'm saying about the willingness to just face what the fuck it is that we're dealing with, and then desire all of the smoke that come with it and not even care. Because that's where the truth is, and let the truth just hurt for whatever that means is in regards to responsibility and what to do. For example, and then I'm gonna check the chats again to talk about some more of these shits. Um, um, the celebrity collapse right now with Diddy uh rehashing the whole Epstein thing is keeping Epstein in the minds of the people who don't want society to forget that we experience all of that, and then they try to sweep it under the rug. So all of that is constantly cycling through a lot of the social media shit that I've been checking out lately, and it's been bumming me the fuck out. Number one, that I know that it's a distraction, that it is keeping us emotionally invested in the very hypnosis that Hollywood and other entertainment, sports and shit even had to offer in the first place. Now they're doing this to us, and it's strange because I wanted to be exposed for them being as evil and nasty as some of them really are. That needs to be out. If that's the truth, then it needs to come out, and people need to know and then start making decisions about how they feel about that and what responsibility we have as loving adults to protect any kids and innocent people and all and anybody being victimized by the shit while it's going right in front of us while we are paying for their lifestyles, these super celebrities, because of our uh, because of the being fans of what it is that they do, which is sad because I like movies. It's a goddamn shame that it's all being made to do something kind of hypnotic to us by people who are way beneath us morally, and that's sad, man. This is the hell that y'all was looking for, bro. All you religious motherfuckers looking for the hell, you are here. What more hell can you possibly be in than to live a fucking life and you don't know what part of this shit is real? That's why I feel very disrespected about being lied to about any of this shit. Don't fucking lie to me about what this fucking world is, bro. You pissing me off. You fucking with my soul's journey, bro. Fuck this American freedom and the Constitution. You don't need nobody to write that shit for this shit to be naturally true across the fucking globe, from the beginning of the shit to wherever the fucking end is. If there is no end, then there is no end to the justice and freedom. It always deserved to be fucking pointed out and sought after. And maybe even fought and died for it. Who gives a fuck? You're gonna die anyway. Do something. Think, do something. Do something positive to fucking shed some light or to do something, man. Because what the fuck else do you got to lose? You think I give a fuck about calling motherfuckers out to a fight when they've been fighting me my whole life? I don't give a fuck about none of them about nothing, bro. Or how they feel about nothing that I ever say because I already solidified who the fuck it is that I am. I know who I am. The huggable guy. Kiss my dick. It's already too late. Now, you're just going to have to fight now. What's good, my boy? What up, David? The creator made us a spirit. We should feel this bad energy. What you say here? The creator made us a spirit. We should feel this bad energy. Yeah, I mean, listen, we do got. See, well, when you talk about creator, I don't like the term creator, I guess, because it implies it being something and then doing something after. Um, And if you want to call us a spirit, that's the eternal part. So I don't think that I don't think they're I don't see us as being created. I think that we just as eternal as wherever it is that we came from, because there's no other place for it to come from. We just seem to, I think, sometimes in the language too, we misconstrue what that is, because we have these finite, limited five senses to work with, and this is where it is that we can detect the spirit or the soul or the consciousness or whatever the fuck it is that we attach to. This is what we have, and it's a temporary thing. But what we jump into this thing and then we start feeling shit, feeling around, looking around and shit, uh, knowing that that's limited, that it's finite. The ability of these five senses, and there's an expiration date on them. At least in the here and now, there's this feeling, this perspective of an expiration date, a beginning and then an expiration date. And when you do that to something that's eternal, like a consciousness, what else could you do to an eternal consciousness to play a game on itself? It's the ultimate thing to do. Can you I mean, what greater contrast could you possibly imagine than something eternal being trapped in something that flips it on itself to give this fear driven perspective that you might not exist one day. What the fuck? You see what I'm saying? If the consciousness is an eternal thing, which I think that it is, uh, uh, there will be. I can't think of a greater um, contrast than to do that, than to put you in this meat suit that's fragile as fuck, and then go, "Good luck, motherfucker." Then you go, "Oh, it's going to be over." And then it's like, "Ah, gotcha, gotcha. It can't be over. It can't be over." But look at you, can't figure out why it can't be over, because you feel like you know that it's gonna be over, like you're gonna die, but maybe you can't die. I think that's the key to it. I think the whole Jesus character was trying to tell people that the fear of the death and the fear of the hell is nothing to really fear at all, that you shouldn't fear it. Let that shit go, follow me, you ain't gonna go to no hell. I think what it was that he was trying to say possibly was that if you recognize what the truth of this is, you're not going to fear a hell, because um, that's a conscious decision and effort, a pivot point, a no, but it's not uh, in eternity. Eternity would have to include all things. So how could you be in a hell for an eternity when eternity has to include everything? I don't think that you can ever get away from the battle between good and evil, because I think that it's possibly subjective actually. And um, what kind of reality would it be if it was void of one or the other? How would that ever even work? Like what force could do that and then keep it? I don't know. It just don't seem like it's ever even supposed to do that. That's another reason why I totally embrace like the superhero complex that I have. That I don't like look into the eyes of evil when I examine like government and religious control. I don't look into the eyes of that shit and feel fear. I feel like a happy acceptance of a battle that has to go on, and that I've chosen freedom over the control and deception that both of those institutions have to offer. And then I just say that I couldn't expect anything less but to have to address this, to either be one of them or to address it. But where else are you going to go? The in between just seems like blah to me. I wouldn't want to just be an observer. I would want to get involved, and I would choose to call that shit out, hoping that there'd be a ripple effect on what it is that I do, much like people in the past have done, like these ancient philosophers and shit, or who said some of the shit that I've said, um, which is crazy to me, discovering some of that. But I think it's a beautiful thing just to recognize it all and find some level of acceptance to this shit. I think deep down, the elite have accepted that life is like this weird, like simulated game thing, which I think is a conspiracy theory people should look into. Is are we in a simulation or not? I think we are. I think what's losing people's perception on how serious to take a quote unquote conspiracy theory like that is because simulation is something that not only do we have an example in it in video game type simulations and shit like that, so we have an example of something to reference our idea to, that we can look right at and observe, so that it's easy to draw the correlation between the two. That's cool. But I think there's something going on in the delivery of the perception of what it means that we are living in a simulation. There's something that I almost never hear people say that'll just make the connection smoother for the people that can't grasp the concept. Um, which is why the conversation needs to keep happening over and over again, as much as you can stand to have the conversation, talk about these things particularly, because I think even giving credit to the idea of this being a simulation makes the control of government and religion look like, oh, okay, so this is a game and you playing a game and this is what you have achieved. But it don't got to be like that. I don't got to accept it. I can be whatever the fuck I want to be, and you might actually be holding me back. I don't got to like you, and it does have to change in my lifetime. I don't care. But let's see if something um, that I can do to contribute to the idea that it may change in the future, could turn the world into something different, then okay, I'll accept that. If that's all I can get within my grasp, then let me influence people to think in this way, not to be violent, because part of my philosophy and all of my activism, everything, the way I see this, is that I think peaceful non-compliance and the multitude of the people standing up and just calling everything out for being a game that don't even got to be like this, uh, and that is not a part of some God's a holy prophetic plan, so that we should accept it. Because I think that's what religion does. It makes people accept it that it's being like this. But I think the Bible and other holy books are playbooks that they're going by. That if they stay within the framework of the playbook, that they fulfill a prophecy, then people will actually help them do it, and then stand by and accept all of the bad that comes along with it. When in reality, somebody just wants to rule the world, and we know that that is what it is that somebody's trying to do. What makes you think that the prophecy isn't going to be them fulfilling that? You think that it's separate as some kind of holy spiritual thing that's supposed to happen, but everything that moves this shit along is government, violence, and muscle. So it's like, why is government playing that muscle role in your religious prophecy, and y'all don't see that something's wrong? Man, I don't know. I don't know if y'all can follow me on all of that, but I don't know why y'all like that. Well, why y'all are okay with that. But I say all that to say this: if you recognize the possibility of life being like some kind of simulation, you would look at that and go, "Y'all just winning a game that could have been anything, and it happened to be this, and y'all winning it because of control, manipulation, money manipulation, fueling the military-industrial complex. All this shit is connected. Um, with the military-industrial complex, then they control resources, and then they can give you certain things and put their people in position to do this, so that this generation after generation, fucking elitist movement can maintain control up there, that when you look into those industries, all of those people are the same people, and they won't let you get involved with that or influence or throw them off track without smoking your ass. You either gonna be one of them or rock with them, or you're gonna get the fuck out the fucking way. But they're not gonna let you derail their shit. That's why Tesla was developed by this guy Elon Musk. And if you look into his fucking past and who the fuck he is, you can it'll make you go if you look at him like a crime scene investigator. I told my 20-year-old son like 2 3 years ago, I ain't like Elon Musk. He's like, why? Because he rich, and you just don't like the rich people because they rich, and if they rich they must be evil. I go, no, not exactly like that. If they're rich and they're able to do what it is that he's doing, he's in bed with them, because other people who have developed super efficient ways to move vehicles around the fucking planet get their ass smoked. So why the fuck they not smoking Elon? Oh, who is he? Oh, you look into it and then you're going, oh, that's why. Because they want that movement to be with one of their men, or else that movement won't fucking move. That's what happens. That's exactly what it looks like. Now, how can you trust Elon Musk? Look what they got to do to get them batteries and the materials. And then look how dangerous they are when they set fire and shit, and they lose control of some of them. But I know if you want to own them, you got to break some eggs. So this is the way technology moves. They stumble, but you will get through it. You'll master the shit eventually. You know, the space monkeys that they blew up with a dog or whoever the fuck, whatever the fuck that was with the space shuttle shit. Yeah, this is what happens sometimes. You gotta break some eggs to make that omelet. I get it. But the Elon Musk thing, bro, I don't gotta like when they announced that he was the richest man in the world. It was on like the anniversary of Nikola Tesla's death, the real Nikola Tesla's death, or his birthday, or something. It was something. It was something. I was like, man, that's not a coincidence. Y'all play too much. Y'all play too much. I'm looking right at y'all, and it's crazy to me, bro. This is a game that y'all playing, and that y'all winning. You got to use violence and deception and manipulation and shit like that to win it. That's the only thing that's happening on planet Earth. None of it was prophesied by your fucking Jesus, that it just had to be like this according to the plan of a fucking God. Y'all tweaking. This shit could have been anything, bro. Period. It can't. It could have been anything. You turn on Grand Theft Auto, right? I'm gonna play get Grand Theft Auto right now and get my top kill count up. Um, you turn on Grand Theft Auto, anything that the game is going to give you was already programmed before you turn it on, but it will manifest the path that you carve inside of the game when you turn it on and start making choices about where you put your character and what it is that your character does. Now play it for 24 hours and then in the next 24 hours mirror exactly what you did the day before. Impossible. You're not going to do it again. This is why I like the simulation thing about reality being a simulation. Is cool to watch humanity develop something that's kind of mirroring like the macrocosm of what the fuck reality might actually be based on. It's a beautiful thing to watch that happen, but people want to look for, well, who designed the computer? It's not a simulation inside of a computer. It's a simulation inside of the one great consciousness. This is what I think is going on. Rituals, you goddamn right. Look into NC having lithium. North Carolina got lithium. Yeah, same people. Bill Gates' grandfather, all of these motherfuckers. Trump had an uncle who was a part of the FBI team or CIA team, whichever one of them fucking alphabet boys went in behind the real Nikola Tesla after he fucking died. And while they was investigating him and roughing him up and making his life a living hell in his last days, he died broke in a fucking hotel in New York or some shit like that. The real Nikola Tesla, a fucking genius. Uh, Crazy what it is. They fucked the whole world up and set us on a path that we'll never ever recover again. Even if we recover all of Nikola Tesla shit and we were all free to chase the free energy and everything that that technology had to offer tomorrow, and that the world went peaceful and we were all now in a better place and free energy and love and ain't nobody fighting, that would be beautiful. And I'll still never forget what it is that they did until that day when they killed Nikola Tesla and fucked up his work. They set us on a path that we'll never recover from. And in 200 years, you can't say, oh well, we passed that now. No, fuck that. This is what happened. Just like slavery. No, fuck that. That's what happened. I don't give a fuck about all we passed that. We not past that about Nikola Tesla's death either. They fucked up humanity in a bad way by doing that. They took us off track, and I'm never going to forgive them for doing that. Every little thing they do is set us on course and steer us away from a possibility that life could have possibly offered us on planet Earth, given it being a fucking simulation program to do all of the possibilities that you can imagine in your head, that you can manifest in front of you, and then you make greater possibility of whatever you plan on being a reality when you make the plan and then start setting these things in motions to get to it. That's the only way you can develop a reality, right? The reality we are in is what it is because somebody has jumped in and took the fucking wheel from everyone and put things into place to create the reality that it is that they fucking wanted. And when they did that shit to Nikola Tesla's work, they fucked humanity the fuck up. They stole something from us when they did that we shouldn't be suffering. None of the shit that we're going through right now. Not none of the political shit. Not none of the economical shit. Um, I think even the level of depression that's sweeping across planet Earth, including the violence that comes along with that, including the self checkout that depressed people often fall into, all of that is a byproduct of what it is that we are dealing with in society right now that didn't have to happen at all if they would have freed Nikola Tesla and all his fucking work and just given it to the fucking world to free the world instead of doing what it is that they did to him and other inventors in the world that's been trying to free us of the enslavement or having to work on planet Earth just to survive with the essentials on this bitch. There's something fucking wrong. Do you understand me? This is where the grudge is coming from. This is why I don't respect or like them, and I'll forever hold them responsible for derailing humanity's potential on our path with the bullshit that they do that forever changes the entire landscape of what it is that we got going on. You know why the hood is the way the hood is in this country with Black America? Because they killed Nikola Tesla. Yes, I think it's directly correlated. All of this shit is related. I blame the hood shit on them killing Tesla. Because if they would have freed him and crowned him, not king of the world, but I would have put the spotlight on him and say, everybody is going to protect, support, and get the fuck out of the way of this man so he can free the world. No one's fighting. No one's doing shit. All eyes on him and everything that he wants us to do. If If what's actually going to happen is free energy and a new boost in technology for the world to thrive in peace where we don't fight each other, all we do is this, the comfortable shit. And not just for ourselves, but anything that would allow us to do this for everybody, and that's exactly what we're doing. Don't that sound beautiful? If they did this with Nikola Tesla and his work, there will be no ghettos, no hoods, no fucking under educated fucking children lost in the midst of uh confusion and depravity of emotional support in the household with fucking uneducated people that grew up in abusive homes and drug use and all sorts of shit, and it becomes a tumbling effect. What the fuck do you really expect for a kid to get out of living in a fucking broken home well enough that you can count on the chances that they are going to grow up to be a productive member of society? You have to know that the environment is going to breed enough of the bullshit that the chances are low, and you will have to deal with that if you want adults to be better at honest observation, leadership, protection, empathy, humanity, educating not just the people in your village. We could be making efforts to educate the entire world on everything that is seen to be so ignorant and lost about as a global community without all of this fighting shit. And what's so crazy is that what we got going on in the elites that are controlling the world is that the best way for them to control us without us seeing them is by them being in all of the places where we would naturally want to progress to, so that they can be the ones to control that when we naturally go there in your spirituality, in your search, in your sense for justice, peace, and protection for people in society that cannot or will not protect themselves. It sounds so good. And here they come with the fucking police to fucking fill that void. The police? What? This is what y'all gave us. Crazy. There they are to fill all of these voids with all of their bullshit, bro. As soon as we naturally want and need that. Crazy, man. Hijacking our whole shit. And the Nikola Tesla is not the only example where I can say, here's a one here to quit example of how we were derailed from the possibility of a better life on planet Earth for everybody that was fucked up because somebody wanted to be greedy so that they can control it when we desire to go there. If they tell you if you want peace on earth like we know that you want and you're going to be willing to fight for it before you can do that, we'll smoke a great percentage of y'all and give y'all the Jesus story. And when we stand up to be the ones to do that, when society is demanding that shit, it'll be us on top. So go ahead, ask me for it. They already know what questions you're going to ask them, what desires you have, and they're going to be like, oh, we just don't have a department for that. The fuck? What the fuck? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here lying to me about how this shit works. I'm offended, motherfucker. I'm offended. For anybody that lied to me about how the fucking world works from grade school till whenever, motherfucker, if you lied to get over on me, fuck you for that. And it makes me very suspicious on what the fuck it is you was trying to hide behind that lie. They lie to us in these motherfucking schools and shit all the fucking time. Where the school system come from? The Rockefellers, right? Crazy, right? Fake ass world. You damn right. It's all so fucking fake that people who go along with everything, I go, oh, you was fucking right for the picking, you goofy motherfucker. You trust them? Crazy. I find it very natural for me myself to just question a lot of the shit that they do and then just be distrusting of everything they do. People who can't just look around and go, man, government my dick. I don't give a fuck. Govern that. The fuck? I don't like or trust none of them, bro. That's a default position for me. The Sumerian cuneiform tablets. Oh, is that the emerald tablets? Is that what that is? Is that what you're talking about? Because you about to, if that's what you're talking about, you about to tap into some shit. But that's one of my favorite subjects to really talk about. And I wouldn't even call that a conspiracy theory per se, but kind of, because it's easy to lump something like that into the category of conspiracy theory, because all it really takes for anybody to consider something a conspiracy theory is for it to be a piece of knowledge that reveals a truth that would be shocking and damaging to the fabric of our reality, that will call a responsibility for us to go wherever the truth is leading us, no matter what that means. And whenever anything makes anybody feel like that, they call it a conspiracy theory. And to me, it sounds like they run from the responsibility that these things will entail. So if you're talking about Heartless Raven, if the Sumerian cuneiform tablets is the Emerald tablets, uh, then yeah, you fucking with the right one because Hermeticism and the Emerald tablets and Thoth the Atlantean. I'm into all of that potential. I think very obvious truth inside of who we are as humanity. Um, I think that's important. That's some of the shit that they hear from us with the lies they told us in school. You think they would have told us the truth about the Sumerian cuneiform tablets or the Emerald tablets, Thoth the Atlantean? You think they're going to preach this shit to kids in schools? Imagine if they did, though. Imagine if they was telling these kids that the power that you think that you can find in the Jesus story is inside of you and even greater because you got greater resources now. And let's point out things philosophically, really, now that I mentioned that, looking at the the difference in technology and resources that we have now that the Jesus character did not have, um, is just kind of strange to me because I think um, a 12-year-old kid with a cell phone and a gun seems to be way more powerful than Jesus in the Bible, and that's strange to me. There's something about that story really that I do admire and I do adhere to. Never could call myself a Christian. I think Christianity is not only strange and offbeat. I think I can see it being used as a tool of manipulation so well that I couldn't imagine um, the creator of consciousness itself giving the Bible to humanity as a soul saving tool and then being proud of the attempt to connect with us by using that. Look at what happened with it. Don't it just don't make no sense. It's just not the work of a God. I think the work of a God is going to be something that um, puts the responsibility on the individual to find the truth that once you do find it, then it can't be denied. And that you needed no real uh, submission or a position of like subordinates to another human being in order to then receive what it is that the truth is. And I think hermeticism and shit like that really paints the picture in that way. I think it gives people a really good perspective on examining reality and us spiritually and what our duties are. And I think it puts the responsibility on the individual so well that it makes the Jesus story looks like uh, a motivational speech for you to be that and beyond than it does to be like, and this is who you have to worship. Lay your ass down. You're hardly worth anything. Um, and people that believe in Christianity might even jump in the comments and say that's not what it's supposed to be. Come on, man! It said to praise and worship Jesus for all eternity. It's telling you that the greatest reward that you can possibly do is to follow the rules given to you by this God, so that the greatest reward you can imagine would be worshiping Him in heaven for eternity. Which is crazy because y'all don't even like y'all can't even stand in church on a Sunday, especially if the game is on. Stop playing. Y'all don't want to go to heaven for eternity. It all sounds crazy. It just sounds off. I think reality is way bigger than that story. And the best that the Jesus thing can do is to be an account for maybe a real man that did exist, but to be motivation for everyone to say that, man, I want to be Jesus. I want to be better than that. I want to be bigger than that. I want to be such a shining example of what's supposed to be righteous and good and truthful, and then to be willing to actually go out and search into the darkness to shed light on what the truth of the world is so much that I would much rather do that than to indulge in worship and sports and blah blah blah. Fuck you niggas. I don't give a fuck that you can throw a ball through a hoop. Nigga, I got other shit to do. What is this? What is this reality? What is this made of? How am I connected to it? Where did it come from? It's the only thing I care about. I don't care about the sports and what and how many like points this motherfucker scored in season, breaking records. I don't care. Why would I care about that? Why would I care about that? Strange that people will care so much about it. So much so that if I say fuck the Green Bay Packers, I can find somebody that punch me in my face for saying that. Why the fuck are y'all okay with a world like that when we don't even know who the fuck we are, where we at? That's why I don't gotta like y'all. Cause of shit like that. I don't gotta like y'all now, bro. Y'all, man, fuck out of here. I highly recommend that everyone watch the video entitled Mark Passio Occult Mockery of Police and Military Personnel. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. I'll be hearing a lot about Mark Passio, and uh, I've heard some of his stuff. I didn't realize that I heard some of his stuff some years ago. Didn't realize that that was him. Some little clips and stuff on Facebook when I first had a Facebook. Um, well, when I had a Facebook before I lost it, this was probably like 2017, 16 or 17. Um, I think I remember um, seeing a Mark Passio video because I can see the guy's face and I can hear the tone of his voice and stuff. And then when I recently seen a video in the past like 3 or 4 months or so, I was like, that voice and that face and those glasses sound familiar. And I go, I think I remember stumbling upon some of this shit during my quote unquote awakening when I start opening my eyes to the idea that I've been lied to about everything pretty much uh, intentionally with the intentions to control me so that I didn't realize a truth that would give me more power than what I would ever perceive that I would have if I stayed stuck inside of the lie. Then I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the whole story. That's the whole description of the relationship between us and the lie. You know, with the truth that we want and the lie, that's the relationship. That's the way you describe it. That the lie has an intention on keeping you down when you could be up so much so that they heavily depend on all of the deceptions in order to maintain the control over you. They heavily need all of it. And all of it is exactly what it is that they have. You can't look nowhere and not find the control. It's everywhere: food, medicine, education, truth in your history. You're born into a birth certificate system where you are measured against the national debt. You become collateral against the national debt. Now look at the national debt situation. Look at the crime that the money was built on and how that supports the idea that you will be enslaved by this national debt. Look at all the things that they put in place to support it. You are surrounded, motherfucker. This is why everything is connected. Um, Crazy, right? Man, anybody that can deny the importance in these conspiracy theories and how crucial it is for us to at least research them enough to know that we are dismissing an invalid threat to declare it invalid and to move on with life, forever being diligent, looking out for the threat and the danger, then we would just investigate everything and then just discard the ones that we find to be no real threat to us. Until then, we should be doing the investigation on it. When you investigate these things, the birth certificate being printed on bond paper, what that actually means. I think there's a website that you can plug in your social security number that'll bring you up by name as a commodity being exchanged on an international stock market, and it's all wrapped up in to the national debt. If you consider that, then you go, oh, okay, that's spooky. It doesn't take much of a leap to then say, well, if the debt is what it is and it's constantly rising, and we can see people doing things that almost very critically damages what they also recognize as being a fucking bad, crazy fucking debt. They all recognize it as political figures, these presidents and politicians. They recognize it because they speak on it and then they jump in to do everything that hurts it. Um, with the military industrial complex constantly spending, bailing their friends out of shit like that. When you see that, you got to take offense to that when you just watch them do that simple shit. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's obviously what's happening right in front of everybody. That's why I don't understand why anybody will vote and then pick sides like somebody's going to fix what it is that you see that they historically jumped in to fuck up. Every time we get a president, we go, "Oh man, look what they did to the dead. You beat the guy before you." And then the next president fucking takes the fucking torch, and then he takes the fucking crown for being a champion of damaging a debt that they all call damaged. This is why I don't like y'all. See what I'm saying? You see how the slap in the face is such a disrespect to not just your freedom but your soul's entire journey that you should take so much offense to that you go, I'm not gonna play your game no more. I don't even want to play no more. What we gotta do to make it stop and call it all out? Because I would rather do that than to watch you do what I just recognize you doing. Now I can't go back. Now I don't gotta like you or just let you do this shit either. Like it's such an automatic. Just my fucking mind just tumbles into all of that logic so easily. That if any of this shit is true, then fuck y'all. Y'all should get punched in y'all fucking face for that. Period. It's too simple. Bet not be true. Bet not be true. Any conspiracy theory you name, bet not be true. And then I go looking. The fuck? Bet not be fucking true. What they gonna do with a debt like this when it can't be settled? A debt goes into default. What's the process when that happens? If you explain that to yourself, especially if you understand how like a car repossession or a foreclosure on a home, you recognize how that goes. Apply that to the fucking country and all of the resources, natural resources. That includes the people too. You're thoroughly attached to it through your birth certificate. It's not conspiracy theory. Follow the trail until you start seeing these things mirror other concepts that you know you can recognize, like a car repossession, and then apply it when you know you're talking about corporate business, and then tell yourself, does that mean us in the land and the resources too? And then they start finding, if they found some shit in North Carolina, China gonna say flag in the fucking earth, that's ours. They'll try because we owe how much of our debt to China, and now they get land uh, in America, right around these. They're buying up land, farmland, right near military bases and shit that we have in America on American soil, on U.S. soil. They're doing that, right? Some news reporter called Trump out on it and showed him a map. Trump's reaction disturbed me. Trump supporters won't admit it. I'm about to make a video about this. Maybe I should do a whole video on it and then not spoil it and give y'all all the juice right now. But I'm gonna show that to y'all, and I'm gonna point out something to you. I'm gonna read into them the way these CIA fucking interrogation artists do. I'm gonna read they ass in the same way. You can learn to think and perceive people's actions and their history as you watch them progress through their career, so you can then discover inconsistencies and certain patterns that you might not have known or recognized until they get into the position to play these things out, that this is what you're dealing with. But once you pay attention, you can do them the way they do us. And I've psychologically examined Trump enough, given the gematria that he's obviously been involved in, that he was part of the fucking plan, he's part of the script anyway. Now you got to go look at him as if that if he is a puppet, a part of the plan, helping propel the shit, and he's not a grassroots fucking hero for us, there's other things that you would expect to see in his actions if that were to be true. And if you start watching him with that perspective, waiting for him to do the necessary things that would justify your suspicions that he's a part of the plan, then he start doing it, call it like you see it when you see it, then stop fucking playing with me. Can you follow the thought process? People are tweaking. Y'all are crazy if y'all don't take enough uh, uh, seriousness to this idea that you want me to take you so serious when you vote. Then I'll take it serious enough that I'm going to examine them like a crime scene investigator or a fucking interrogation artist, because I'm waiting for them to prove to me that they are legit in the authority that they have over us in the first place. And then I hold grudges when I find them falling short. Period, period, period. And the way Trump responded when this dude showed him the fucking map of China buying up land in America, right? Right around our military bases, looking like a strategical thing that they're doing in preparation for something later. The way he responded, it tells me a lot. He expressed some concern, but the concern was more of the fact that he knows he's going to have to address this. Any involvement that he would have had in any of that is he's feeling ashamed. Maybe even some little bit of legal things. Kind of he might have a few flashes of um, a revolution with him and his opposition all being held responsible all together, standing side by side, holding both sides, him and his opposition, responsible for their role in setting up what it is. And I think that they fucking set us up for. The setup goes way far back to the development of the U.S. petro dollar, that American dollar. I talked about that. The Titanic, that was a fucking lie. Where it come from, J.P. Morgan? All you motherfuckers are lying. You killed all your opposition on that shit so that y'all can move forward to develop the shit. That was the pivotal moment. That if they were not able to do that, it would not set us on a course that we are on right now. And every single thing that's attached to the fact that the J.P. Morgan and other bankers were successful in establishing a Federal Reserve in America, everything attached to that after that can be blamed on the fact that it was able to be conceived of, and then they were successful in it in the first place when they got on Jekyll Island and developed that Federal Reserve in 1912, 1913. The fact that they were able to do that set us on course, and I can blame so much shit on that. That if that wouldn't have happened and we would have moved towards more freedom and peace in America, the entire country would look so different that you wouldn't recognize it. That's what I'm saying. The grudge is huge. The grudge is huge, bro. And in the same way that I cannot forget or forgive them for establishing that because I can see how they derailed that, I'm not going to forget slavery because that put us on a path that we are never going to recover from because it happened and it can't be ignored or forgotten. Period. Not any of it. Not Kennedy's death either. No. No. You got to respect that shit for what it is and everything that was able to be uh, potentially manifested thereafter because of it. Things that you won't even think are related are related. When you look at it like that, the butterfly effect type shit, I hold all that shit accountable, bro. Fuck them for all of it. For all of it. Fuck them for killing that white man. I wouldn't give a fuck if they faked the fucking the whole thing. I've heard things and seen with my own fucking eyes differences in um video footage that seems weird about the Kennedy assassination and signs that it had been edited or cropped or cropped the video. And I'm a video editor, aspiring film writer and director anyway. I know how to look for these things in ways that might get by other people, especially if somebody describes it to me. Then I'm not going to pretend to not understand what it is that they're describing, how critical that is to the fucking valid, to the validity of the official story and the conspiracy. It almost undermines the official story and the conspiracy theory because it's almost like with the moon landing. Talk about conspiracy theories. This is another thing that makes me scratch my head and question because I know that people in position to even be involved with this shit are smart enough to get over on me if they want to lie about it. We talking about going to the moon, right? That's what I'm talking about. If you can even conceive of them being halfway potentially trying to do that, they're probably smart enough to deceive me about the entire project before and after. They might dare be able to deceive me about all of it. And I think it's possible that they tried to go to the moon and then fake the footage. Not because they didn't go, it's because when they went, they don't want to tell you what the fuck happened. I don't know. That's possible. Yeah, they faked it, but what for? The why they faked it could be the got you. Now leave us alone. You're never gonna know the truth. Just go in. Just live in this. Did we go or not? We faked it. Faked it for what? Cause we trying to stunt on Russia and fuck out of here. Fuck you too, China. And because we was doing that, I don't care, bro. Um, Fuck them for even losing this type of shit in to that degree of obscurity that we don't know the truth about something that's serious. I say fuck them for that much. I don't give a fuck if what I think is the truth or not. It don't even matter. Fuck y'all for even making it debatable about something like that. How's that? The fuck? One of my favorite conspiracy theories is that men have walked on the moon. Yeah. So planter. Yeah, it's a weird one. What's crazy is that check this out. This ain't even this is some of the shit that bugs me about conspiracy theories and just the truth in general is that um it seems like all of the supportive evidence to either support the official story or to support the conspiracy theory often has details or an idea within the conspiracy theory that has its own life that you have to pay attention to wonder where the truth really is. It's so confusing. Fuck them for confusing this shit. NASA just last year, I think it might have been early this year, maybe last year, said, and I seen the video of NASA astronauts saying this, NASA engineers and shit saying this. So it's not a meme with uh, a caption over it and a Facebook post from or Instagram post or something from somebody who is just a regular person who could be misconstruing or trying to intentionally fucking jazz something up because they want this to be true. It wasn't that. is a whole fucking 3.5 minute fucking video of a NASA engineer explaining why the moon is actually inside the Earth's atmosphere. That it's not beyond what it is that we consider the Earth's atmosphere. It's not beyond it. What is it? What does that do to the idea of we've been in outer space, the Van Allen belt thing that's supposed to be separating us from the moon, but does it still, considering that the moon is, according to them, recently too, fairly recently, that the moon is still technically inside the Earth's atmosphere? All of this shit is weird, bro. And a lot of people don't know that they admitted this and said this and then explained it thoroughly. So now they can calculate that into any other related moon conspiracies or truths or information. Like, oh fuck, man. That's why on a global scale we need to be paying attention to these things, and with uh high levels of scrutiny about what the truth is and how clear the information is being conveyed to humanity. And I think what it helped everybody just say, man, we just gonna tell the truth, is that people also feel like they cannot rule us with the truth anyway because we won't let them rule it all. If ruling isn't an incentive to hide the truth, then exposing the truth for the greater good seems more plausible to the people that would rule us by being the holders of the light and the truth. But now they can't do that. Uh, it all seems to flow together that we will inevitably reach this a crescendo of enlightenment and truth and peace on earth if people stop fighting over the things that become deceptive tools of control. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. What's with the control shit? We ain't got enough to share down here. Yeah, the fuck we do. This shit is not overpopulated. There's too many for y'all to fucking control. Your mismanagement is going wild because there's too many of us being too free, saying what the fuck we want, and trying to keep a hold of these guns for as long as possible. There's too much of that going on. And prophetically with the Bible, which is somehow aligning with what it is that the elite said that they want to do, we need to bring this earth to a low level of population. The Georgia Guidestones, the day that they fell is uh, very much filled with gematria, because the day that the Georgia Guidestones came down, um, it was too perfect to fit a fucking narrative that might offer itself only if something would align. And here this shit is to align itself with a narrative that points to a plan, an overall arcing plan of deception. They never really addressed who did that anymore. We're not talking about who knocked it down. We just kind of let it go. Is it still an open investigation? I'm gonna have to look into that to see if there's an active, open investigation on who did that and what it is that they found, and if there are any police officers and detectives actively on duty every day, still trying to figure that specific thing out. Who knocked them Georgia Guidestones down, right? But on the Georgia Guidestones, it said bring the population down to 500 million, right? Is that the number? Who in the fucking comments can remember the number on the Georgia Guidestones to confirm for me that they said 500 million? Because we have like almost 8 billion people on the planet right now. This is the problem. And this is what the problem is that I have with the religion. You guys have been convinced to expect for it to be this way and then to find a level of acceptance in it, which means your acceptance in the idea that the world is going to fall into a third world war that's going to be great and most people won't survive and then your king is going to show up. The idea of accepting that means that you will play no role in, you will have zero expectation in, or faith or support in the idea that humanity saves itself from a third world conflict so we can reach a resolution without having to go that far into that level of violence and death and destruction. If somebody stood up and said, we want that to be the plan, to actually derail a prophetic plan and expectation for us to fall into a third world conflict to bring on the Messiah. We're going to derail that plan so that that great battle never happens, and we're going to do it with love and togetherness so that the planet never has to go that far to get to a resolution that you can already imagine after a catastrophe like that, to bring the planet Earth down to 500 million fucking people after we've reached 8 billion. To go back in that direction, population wise, is going to take a level of depth that no one should be okay with seeing, not even a Christian. You can't want it and accept the return of your Jesus as payment for the fucking suffering that it would take to even get there. You shouldn't want that. You should be fighting very heavily for truth so that we can come together so that that doesn't happen. And look at y'all cheer for that shit. Never gonna respect it. And no story in the Bible is gonna make me go, oh, okay, now I understand. Let the chaos happen. I want to see that so that the prophecy becomes true. Who would wish for that? Doesn't it seem like the evil that you would expect in the hell on earth that you're pretending to try to be a better man to prevent, but you will stand on the sideline and cheer for it to go into the level of chaos that matches the story so that your Messiah can return. I think it's psychosis. I find it to be very much like the government business. Let's take all of the positivity that you think you can find and would be undebatable inside a system like that. We'll take all of the positivity and remove all of the negativity, and we will have zero tolerance for the negativity. Period. So if there's anything in the spirituality and soul searching that I might be able to find in the fucking Bible, give me that and none of the bullshit. Oh, rare fruit. I rock with you. I have to disagree though. Wouldn't it be infinitely better that if a God would gift the earth with a Jesus, that he would have given every human being the power to be that in order to maximize his intent and potential to create? You got to maximize now. What God would say, I'm going to make one and then hold back the creative potential that I just gave an example of, and then I'm not going to do it again, though. The rest of you motherfuckers are fucked by default, doomed to be imperfect. You're never going to make it. And I set the rules. I'm going to set the framework for which you will be created, and then I'm going to set the rules that fucking contradict the creation that I get, the nature that I give you, so that you will be in default, um, in the negative. Good luck. I love you. It don't even make no sense to me. It don't sound like the work of a god at all. I think the work of a god, I think he would have created a planet full of gods. Um, and if not, then had I been given that incentive and that great power and responsibility to create a humanity, I would have made a planet full of gods and I would have outdid your God. It's statistically, um, characteristically, infinitely better to make a planet full of gods than to give them one and then leave them in obscurity. You gave they gave he gave you one and gave him 33 years. That ain't even that long. I'm 40. I'll be 44 in a few weeks. Why would you give a shitbag like me more of an opportunity to fucking observe reality and to make a positive influence on the earth than you gave your son? Serial killers live longer than Jesus. Why he do that? Why he play a game like that? Why he write a reality that does that? That's weird. And then blame me for my um confusion on a planet like this. So confused that geographically and even the time in history that I show up will play a big role in how I perceive my soul's journey to the degree that if there's a truth somewhere, it is unfair in how it is that this all plays out. Because if I was born 570 years ago in China, I wouldn't be who it is that I am right now with the opportunity to hear about Jesus and to accept it if that's the truth and the light and the only way too. It just don't seem like the work of a god. I think the work of a god would manifest itself in a way that no one can tamper with it. They just say, I put all my work inside of each individual, fair and square. Boom, there it is, right there. Can't be tampered with. The time in history you show up can't be fucked with, or no, or geographically it can't be fucked with. It's all the same everywhere you go. You can't escape it. Not in time, not in place. You can't escape what it is that I gave all of you. It's all fair and it's all of the best that I can do. You're free to choose now. I think inside of that freedom, there would have been no punishment or reward. This is a testing ground, a game, or something, but it ain't a show to put on to appease a God that created everything. None of that makes any sense to me at all. It just don't make no sense. I can't even give into the narrative enough to say God is king. I can't do that. Jesus is king. I can't do it. It ain't enough. I think that I am, and I think that you are too. Rare fruit. You the king, bro. You are. Man, you know what you could have done with the world? Whatever the fuck you do on Grand Theft Auto when you turn the game on and now all of the possibilities are right there. Are you gonna like tap in to manifest things with intent enough that what it is that you say you want, then you actually get. I think that's the name of the game. I think that's dope. Um, if Jesus had any advantage over me, then I don't like the game at all. Um, I would forfeit it just by not even playing the Christian game at all. At that point, that sounds crazy. I want the same uh, thing he gave Jesus, or else there's a problem. There's a moral problem. I think it's like here. I'm gonna give you an example of a guy you can't even be him. I'm gonna start you in that position of can't be in him. You not being able to be him. Good luck, because now I'm gonna judge you forever for not being him. That's crazy. That's crazy. And the closer you're gonna get is to accept it that for 33 years he gonna walk the earth and then he gonna die. And the fact that he died is what it is that you gotta fucking give praise to because he died for you, whether you believe it or not. That's already done. Now, if you believe it, you can gain the power and the wisdom and the spiritual salvation because it is what it is that you believe. Now it makes it look like what you do in life, since we're all sinners anyway, is based on what it is you believe, not on what it is that you do, because we all do the sin. Which seems to be petty and kind of childish to me to say that reality has been boiled down to what it is that you've been made to believe on what a confused planet where geographically in the time in history that I show up will play a big role in my free will. Because how do I have free will when the time and place in history that I show up uh, will create a world for me to draw my spiritual journey from? That can't be mirrored. No other time in history or place it can't be mirrored either. Each vantage point is unique. It's actually the beauty and the individuality in life, actually, what it is that I just described. But now it's going to be used against you because there's a fucking there's a roulette game for your spiritual fucking uh, salvation. It's being gambled right now on all of those things and how you going to act when you get there. You can be born to the same two parents, live in the same house, and live two different fucking lives. I don't know, man. I think the power is in the individual so much so that we see the individual play out way too much to give into any kind of group thing like that. Um, Christians can't even agree on what Christianity is, like the denominations and stuff. I think there's, uh, you can look at the defined denominations in Christianity, and it's a lot of them. They go on and on. It seems to be never ending. And then when you look at the individual person, the individual Christian, I think that's a whole nother denomination that just doesn't get recognized because it's the individual that's being forced to just conform to a herd mentality kind of a thing to gather in the church and to call yourself these things. But if you ask each individual Christian front to back a lot of philosophical and religious and spiritual questions to have a dialogue, a conversation, a relationship with each one of them, you realize that no two people are even thinking the same about what it is that they call the same Christianity. That means something. That means something in the grand scheme, and that's a real tunnel vision inward into the individual to pull back out and then apply to the great reality of what we talked about when you're talking about a one true God and the one spiritual truth. And when you do it like that, then you go, the two things just don't go together, bro. Something's wrong. And I think the individual is the evidence of the connection of the great consciousness that was given, that is the whole power, the only real source, and your freedom is to choose to do with that whatever it is that you want without punishment or reward. That's what I think. I don't give in to the idea of punishment or reward. I think you punish or reward yourself in in spiritual vibration and elevation when you have the opportunity to play the game to get your score up. That's all I think we're doing, getting our score up out here to see if we can elevate to the next vibrational level in the consciousness because everything seems to be vibration. I don't think that can be ignored, not scientifically, not even spiritually. And even Hermeticism tells you that. And I think that when you dig into that, the individual becomes a beautiful thing. Um, Life becomes not only traumatic in your realization of how violent and confusing. I think confusion is violence. Intentionally driven confusion. I think that's a violent thing. I think they got to take blame for everything they do after that when they confuse people and then they react in a state of confusion about something, whether it's the ignorance of the presence of a knowledge or the false or mis usage of information or a lie that was given to you in place of the truth and information. All of that can be blamed on the fact that you were deceived in the first place. If I was a god, I would cut everybody a clean slate just because it's a fucking mess down here. I just so happen to believe that it's not even a judgment like that in the first place. I think you judge yourself that at the end of your life you realize, hey man, you're supposed to be raising vibration. Did you raise anything? Ah, you stupid, bro. Go back. Maybe do it again. You really have nothing else to do. Eternity is eternity and it's everywhere. And you're in a rush trying to get to the next paycheck or whatever the fuck this life in the game has got you doing. Eternity ain't in no rush. Eternity just spinning, bro. It ain't in no rush. It's got no place to go. And you're in it. And you're in it. I think spiritually, I think that's true because, like I said earlier, the consciousness is you're a part of it. If you ever heard me give the analogy of the observation that consciousness could not have come from a rock, I used to be like a big anti-theist. Didn't believe in God at all to the degree that I was content with just recognizing that I didn't believe in the Christian God or any religious God really. And I was there going, yes, I don't believe this shit, and I got reason not to believe it. And then I didn't go anywhere else because I was like, and thus there is no God. But then later on, I was like, well, consciousness could not have come from a rock. I don't believe that. It couldn't have come from the material because nothing rises higher than its source. So that would mean that the consciousness being like the highest form of a existence that I can perceive and imagine, I'd have to say, well, if it couldn't have come from anything else that I can perceive in reality, then that must be the eternal part. That's the consciousness. That's the awareness. God could be the awareness, and I'm a part of it. Had to be a part of it. The God of creation and consciousness couldn't even reflect its entire existence, story, and manifestation without mentioning me. That makes me critical, incomplete without me. um, that's powerful. And if they would have told you that instead of the Jesus, go worship, go find and worship this man kind of a thing, because he died, so that your guilty ass could pretend to be free, as if a real God won't know that you was fucking dirty still, because the shit doesn't go away or become irrelevant because of something that you believe. Whatever you did is what it is that you did, and it ain't going away. It ain't going nowhere. You're gonna have to face it, grow from it, uh, raise your score, your vibrational score. It's the only way to reconcile it. I think that's what makes sense. Um, but yeah, up in the vibration score, I think that's key. Um, and consciousness is a deep thing that is eternal, and you're a part of it. Period. I think you got to take that seriously. That if you are alive to be conscious, you'd have to say, oh. I guess I got something to do with the fucking manifestation of this great consciousness that we're all looking for. Y'all talk about looking for God and looking for Jesus and looking for the Creator. Uh, you're lost inside of what it is that it is you're looking for, and everywhere you look, you're inside of an eternal stare into the eyes of what it is that you're looking for. You can't look away from it. This idea of looking forward is crazy to me because when you do that, I know you're looking for something inside of a game that you have been told to play instead of observing the fact that you're inside of something, and what it is that you're inside of is everything, and there is nothing else outside of it. That's why Hermeticism, when they called it the all, I was like, that resonates with me so well because that's the better way to describe what it is that I think that a God might be. All of these religions are putting inside a game. It's like being inside a Grand Theft Auto game, looking for the guy that created the PlayStation, thinking, I know he's in here somewhere. You're inside of what it is that he gave you to tap into what it is that he had to offer you as far as a manifestation of reality. Why would you look for him in here? Are you insane? That seems like insanity to do that. I'm not gonna run around the fucking Grand Theft Auto fucking map looking for the guy that made the PlayStation Network. That's crazy. That seems like psychotic to me. And I think that's what people do when they're looking for a Jesus. You should be looking for the understanding your connection and the fact that you can even ask yourself who the fuck you are and what this is in the first place. As soon as you ask the fucking question, you know you tapped in. The asking of the question is the answering of the question. I'm gonna check that video out. There's a hilarious video on Joy Cam channel. entitled "Are You Familiar with Astrotheology?" Okay, I recommend it, especially to Christians. All right, I'm gonna check that out, Sub Planter. Hey, just know that if you believe in Christianity and stuff, I don't knock you or nothing. I think the beauty in the manifestation of cause and effect and everything else, all of the Hermetic principles that seem to be driving reality. In the manifestation of all of that, I recognize that people are just going to be in their own positions in the journey, and that's what's supposed to happen because all things that are possible um, will play out. It will play out. I don't think there's anything I can imagine inside of my puny little imagination that reality can't actually do. That'd be so weird if I can imagine something that reality be like, nope, you can imagine it, but I can't do it. Don't know how to do it. I think the idea of eternity is a platform that allows for all of the possible things to actually fucking happen, whether you can see it or not. You tap yourself into a specific space in time in reality when you jump inside this me suit to observe the reality from this vantage point. I think when you can observe it from a uh, when you try at least to observe reality from the vantage point of the God that you're looking for with as much creativity and open mindedness as you can muster inside of yourself, you will find yourself at a higher level of imagination and discovery and acceptance of the truth that reality is trying to point out to you. You will find yourself in a higher place there than you would if you stayed inside of the idea that Jesus is the light, your Lord and Savior, the only light to the fucking truth that's through him and no one else, that you can get back into the arms of your creator. I don't think you can get away from your creator, bro. I think you're in the arms of the creator right now. You're a reporter on assignment. You're a fucking antenna. You're doing research. You're playing a role. You're filling in what would otherwise be a void, and you're a star for that. Um, because you are just as inevitable as the God that you're talking about. Once you give the God the credit that is demanding, you are now it. I don't know if y'all can. I don't know if y'all can follow me, bro. Discounting yourself in that kind of a role, I think only opens doors for you to then look to the next man going, "Who the fuck are you?" And now you're capable of killing them or doing them some kind of harm. But if you say, "Oh, I'm a piece of the consciousness that cannot be denied, ignored, or discounted," it's all one and the same. You look to another human being and go, "That's got to mean you too." And why would I fuck with you now? I think it'd be awesome if we came together to hyper focus on the observational truth of us being connected to the thing in this way. Hippies have said this shit and all type of shit in their own way, in their own fucking time, with their resources, with the opportunity that they were given at the time in history that they showed up to observe it enough to reflect in it in that way. Good for them, bro. But how the fuck we not all doing this? I think a fucking global meditation session would do something to the world that it had never seen before because it would be something we have never done before. Why would we not expect with great positivity that if we did that, that it would do that? It would do that very much like in the opposite direction. If we all said somebody gonna die today, we could kill the world in a day. We could offer ourselves in a day if you woke up with the mentality that I'm gonna collide. I'm gonna collide with humanity today to hurt and kill somebody. If everybody woke up with that frame of mind, what you think would happen? All of the bad shit that you can imagine. And if we all get up today and say we're gonna do the opposite to spread some love, to be some example of togetherness, to be some example of let's come together and ask the great question, um, who am I and what is this? How about we all ask it together? What you think gonna happen? I bet you find an answer. Stupid. If you did it all together, you find a fucking answer. Y'all understand how coming together make it violent when you want to be violent and you find like-minded people? Crazy motherfuckers. Y'all know what happens. The scale of violence goes up and then you're all happy for it. Fucking psychos. Warmongering motherfuckers taking my tax money to fund the war. I would have never fought. I would have never did that shit to nobody. Or even thought that it was a good idea to use that as a fucking uh, 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 conflict resolution tool. And then these same motherfuckers turn their noses in the air when a gang member in the fucking streets picks up a fucking gun and says, I will fucking do this to whoever fucking killed my cousin and got away with it, especially if they think they're gonna do me too. Fuck out of here. And then the ones who make the war machine look at those kids and go, savages. Kiss my dick, you stupid. Fucking frustrating to watch y'all do this. Man, I'm out, man. I'm out of here. I fucking did enough today. If y'all just tuned in, anybody tuned in to miss any of the live stream, I feel like I was in my zone. I felt my vibration go up for real. My fucking fingers is tingling and shit. I feel fucking like super hyper focused and shit right now. I feel inspired, motivated, all type of shit. Um, so if y'all ain't see all of the live stream, go check it. Go check it out, bro. I went off on my tangents and my rants, kicking shit, making observations about myself in the midst of speaking, almost like a fucking therapy. Saying shit that I've never said before, viewing things in different ways, and then expressing them in different ways that I've never done before, right here in this fucking live stream. That's what I like about this shit, bro. I think everybody should do this, the introspective shit, and then beam it outward to see what happens. That's what's happening anyway. Your life is nothing but you being this antenna, receiving energy and information uh, into the central point of who you are as an individual. You're receiving this information from the universe. You are the center of this information exchange because whatever you do to beam it back out is your reflection and interpretation of what it is that you took in the first place. Try taking in more of the idea of awareness, the desire to clear the path for whatever positivity in your own awareness that you found that to the degree that you want other people to have their path clear so that they can find themselves inside of their own self-awareness, clear the path. When I do this shit and I go, man, I wish I would have thought about this kind of shit when I was younger. I wish I would have been more free to care about certain things when I was younger. What was it filled with? A whole bunch of bullshit that I realized was wrapped up in manipulations by government and religion to control us. And I go, that's why I couldn't fucking open my mind to do this shit at a younger age. I had to fight so hard to even go, okay, so what am I? And what is this? What is life? What is that? I just been going through my life being scared of death and trying to avoid it at all costs while getting going along to get along and all this other shit in my youth. Fucking stupid, bro. So I want to be an agent for that kind of service. I want to be the guy that says, "Man, let me sweep this broken glass and these nails and this big ass fucking branch. I'm gonna move this out the road, so the people that run through here can just run free and clear, so they can just get back to their workout, get to their jog through this nice fucking park of life with all the trees and the changing seasons. Enjoy this shit. Why you ain't trying to enjoy this shit and go for your nice little jog, get your cardio up? You feeling good? You jogging with a friend? You enjoying the nature, breathing in deeply, the fresh air, stopping to smell the flowers, like they say, the roses or whatever, right? Um, I'm gonna clear the path. There's broken glass, rusty nails, and branches and debris all in a row. I will clear it so that your journey is better. Because I think that when we do it, we will inevitably get more of the positive things that we struggle through life. And we're going, oh man, I wish I could have did this and did that, or I wish I was mentally more prepared for this in life, or mentally and emotionally stronger that I could deal with these things in life. I wish I knew the truth about that. Man, your path is being fucked up. If you were clear and free to benefit from those positive things that life could have to offer, you would have been a more productive person in life. You would have been less likely to off yourself or somebody else in your fucking lost sense of self and your frustration economically, socially, politically, spiritually. Fuck whoever fuck with you about that. Fuck them, bro. Fuck that shit, bro. Because we all being robbed of all of the potential, man. And then the environment gets tainted in ways that would not be the case. It had it not been fucked with in the first place. And it creates an avalanche, right? Of misinformation and just fucked up sabotage stages and environments to which it's hard to even blame the ones that suffer from the environment once it was given to you by the manipulation of all this shit that came way before any of us was even born. It's almost hard with true sincerity to blame y'all 100% because I know the fucking environment was fucked up. For y'all to come in and feed off the fucking bogus environment, you gonna get bogus results. I'm not surprised that a lot of us are dumb, stupid, scared, and all type of shit. It's almost not our fault. It's almost not our fault, bro. Peace and love to y'all, man. Trey Vietnam and this bitch Wu Bang get a fucking gun today. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Especially if you claim to have a big heart. Why you don't get a gun then? Why you don't get a gun? If you're a good person with a good heart, then you should go get a gun. It's that simple. That's what the world deserves, bro. Somebody that clear the path. Three is definitely better. I tell people do the pistol, shotgun, rifle. Uh, get um, a nice balance little collection so that you can be versatile and be defensive only. If you're a bad person with intent on harming people in that way, I couldn't tell you to go get no gun. You already know that's a good idea for your fucking evil shit. If that's who the type of person you are, then I hope you cross paths with somebody like me who not gonna let you do that shit. Who will also woo bang the fuck out of some shit. You got a gun? Oh, me too. The fuck? Mm.